My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. We are on our final double page spread for this month's Scrapbook Workshop Kit, Memories in Bloom. If you haven't had a chance, pop back on Monday and Wednesday's videos to see what we did for then. But today we are doing our final, as I say, double page spread. So I have I have cut my papers according to the instructions from the workshop kit. However, I am planning on putting them slightly different, and I've added a few extras to this to change it up slightly. So the first thing we need to do, obviously, is get our glue dots out. So these are removable dots. If you haven't seen what I've done before, they literally go in opposite corners and they help to keep the base plate or the base card in place. So let's do that. So then we got the first one, which is this is willow cardstock, white willow, I believe it is. So there's one, and then we can just add a glue dot there and a glue dot there. Perfect. I'm going to pop those away ASAP so I don't get them mixed up with my normal glue dots. Put you into there. Perfect. Right. Okay. Let's get the other white page down. Okay. There have been some really beautiful papers, flower papers. So if you are somebody who loves flower papers or loves flowers, this really is a excellent workshop kit for yourselves. Okay, so I've got my photographs. I've got one portrait and one landscape there. I've got some papers. Let's see what else I've got. Oh, I've got my other two photographs. These are of my dog boots in our back garden. And then I've got all my flowers. Oops, throwing those away. This one, oops. So these ones are punch outs, and then we've got these ones which are stickers. So there's a mixture of both. I've got some sentiments, so I've got all things grow with love. Memories are made here. A bit more flowers. I've got a banner there which I'm going to put the date on, and I've got these beautiful papers. Let's see what else we've got. Right, and I've got these strips of paper. These all measure 2.5 inches by 11.5 inches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 6 of those. And then I have replaced the suggested DSP with strips of 1/2 inch by 11.5 inch strips of strawberry slush. Okay, and I'll show you where those go in a moment. So let's move everything aside. Oops. And we can begin. So it has been suggested by the instructions that we pop, that's B, and there. See what else I've got here. So A, right. So it is suggested that we pop 4 onto here, 4 strips of different papers. So that's A, B, C, and then we've got a D somewhere. Oh, look at that D. And then we only have 1 strip, 2 strips onto here, which is a 1/2 inch between. Now I'm wondering, do I want 4? I'll see how it works. 3 to 3. Am I going to stick with what they've got? Well, I can't have that one because that's the same as that one. Okay, let's see if we put that back. I don't want them to match, do I? So I could move that one out and put that one there. No, I'm going to stick with what they've suggested. I quite like that actually. I am going to stick with what they suggested. So it is 1/4 of an inch from the left hand side, and then 1/4 of an inch gap between each of the papers, and that helps to break up the patterns so it doesn't all become too much. Now they had suggested that I put a different pattern down in between there, but again that felt too much for me, so I have got these 1/2 inch strips which will go over the top. I can get hold of them. So yeah, and whoa, on there. Okay, that's that. Then I've got this one to go here, and I did wonder what it would look like if I put a final strip on this section here. That might work for me. Yeah, no, I'm liking that rather than it not being there. Then we've got these beautiful, this is the reverse of those papers. And so we are I and E. So this is this one. So it suggests butting up to here. I'm thinking I prefer it to go to about there. Reason being is I want that to match up onto there, so that they move in, they're more adjusting. So when the two pages come together, I mean, obviously you won't have this, they will match up. That's my thinking. Then we've got these lovely green, Granny Apple Green, and I'm using the lighter shade of the two-tone, and I'm popping that down, and probably about 9.5. So the 9.5 here, so you've got about 1 inch showing. So if you wanted to, you could probably just, in fact, let's do that. Let's just save some paper and we'll cut this down with 1 inch off of each one. So actually what I shall do is I'll do 1.5 inches, and that way it can, so that's 1.5 inches on that side, and we'll do 1.5 inches on this side. And then that's spare as well. Right. Might as well save the paper rather than have it all hidden. Right. So I'm going to pop this down so it measures up to the 9.5 inch level. That will go there. 9.5 inch there. And it's got about 1 inch either side, roughly. It's not quite, but it is roughly. And then I'm going to do 9.5 inch again on here. I'm going to give that one 1 inch. There we go. So papers all fit up. So this is the rough layout of the papers, and then you can bring in your photographs. So I have got, so this is a meal out in the garden with my kids and my husband, or 2 of my kids and my husband. It's a garden that my husband has just about finished and designed. Well, there anyway, because it doesn't look like anything like that now. It's a garden that constantly grows. It's called Gizmo's Garden, and it's named after my cat, who sadly passed away. So my thinking is photographs there. Now, if you wanted to, you could back your photos on here and then add it. But I quite like the white here, so that works for me. I've got a border of a white border on my photos there and on there. It depends on how you print them or how you get them printed. So that works for me. And then you can bring in your embellishments. So I'm liking this one down here, and it's just so I can write the date, which was the 24th of June 2018. Memories are made here. I think we're going to put there. So I've got this lovely flower. So these ones are the pop outs. You can see they've got on the back Project 3. And then we've got sticky ones there. That one. That one. So these are the suggested positionings from the kit. Obviously, you can move them around as much as you like and see how you feel. So I think I'm happy with that. It brings your eye round. Just wondering if it should bring it. Let's try it up there first and see. So we could reverse this, couldn't we? Bring this down. 8.5, there we go. Bring this down. Put that there. I'm wondering if I do that, will it cover? No, it doesn't. We can get away with that. And then, what do I do with that? This is the problem, isn't it? Because it was suggested that it went there and then there, which is good because it covers up both my corners and there's nothing much happening there. But I could do that, couldn't I, to make that counteract that. And then the flowers. Do I? Okay. So I'm thinking this layout has quite quickly come together and I'm liking it. Okay, so let me put the camera on pause. I'll glue it all down and I'll come straight back. Okay, thanks ever so much. See you in a moment. And we're back. Okay, so what I've done quickly, everything is now stuck down. I've made a few changes. So this original piece was over here on this hand side, and I managed to stick this strip down too far away from the edge. So I just flipped the strip over. So creative opportunity, shall we say. I've raised this one up on dimensionals and this one, and everything else is stuck down flat, and I've made sure that I've used my Stampin' Seal wherever the photographs are near to. So thank you ever so much for joining me this week. I hope you like this scrapbook kit as much as I have. As I said, I think the papers are astounding, beautiful. If you don't interested in the scrapbooking kit, you can actually get these papers separately. So another opportunity should you wish to take advantage of them. So thank you ever so much for joining me this week. I will be back next week with a new card. So join me then if you can. Take care. Bye.